Hello, how are we, everybody? Well, for those that enjoy Power Rangers or any of the Sentai stuff, the Japanese stuff that Power Rangers is based on, or whatever, some people out there do not like Power Rangers or it isn't their thing because they didn't grow up with it. But for me, I did. Power Rangers was a big part of my childhood next to Transformers and other things that I generally really enjoyed, cartoons and so on. And yeah, today is very well. To be honest, not just today. This past couple of weeks or so has been quite hard for me. I've never met these people in person. I don't know them closely like obviously their families do and close friends do, but yet they left an impact on my life as a child, and they're still left an impact on me even today. The stuff that I watched as a kid really kind of helped me through a dark spot, and when certain people that contributed to the fact of me feeling a little bit more, feeling happier and able to escape that escapism, which is the main important thing when dealing with mental health, and especially as a child, as a kid. I still have issues with mental health now, but as a kid, watching cartoons, going out and playing with friends, there were the things that kind of helped me through as a child, and and to get through the dark spots of being bullied and things. And obviously, Kevin Conroy, voice actor. Sadly, he passed away about a week or two ago now, which really hit me hard because he is my Batman. Um, Even though the Batman the animated series aired in '92, I was born in '89, so I would have only been about 2 or 3 years old of the time of it airing in America. But I don't know when or what year it aired in the UK, but I remember watching it when it was airing on Cartoon Network, um, probably in the mid to late 90s, and maybe about 95, 96 time. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, is probably when I vividly remember watching it, or it might have been a bit later, where I might have been about 8 years old when we started getting things like Toonami started. Eight or nine when Toonami started on Sky, because when I was a kid I had Sky TV. I was quite lucky as a kid having that because I had all the kids channels and Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Fox Kids back in the day, later Jetix. Now it's no longer there; it's something else now. But and Disney Channel and so on. And Kevin Conroy, he was my original Batman. He voiced Batman, and I remember watching it. I don't know how old I would have been, but I just remember watching it. It could have been a rerun. It could have just been Cartoon Network rerunning it, and I just happened to watch it when it was getting rerun. Possibly so, considering it originally aired in '92. But yet, I remember watching it when I was because I can still remember sitting in front of the TV after school, every day after school, watching the same certain shows, and on a weekend, on a Saturday, and so on. And yeah, so I must have been maybe about 8 or 9, potentially, in order for me to still remember it to a degree. Um, but yeah, so it was thanks to channels like Toonami really that helped to kind of bring a lot more animation from America to us, as well as from Japan as well. Um, so yeah, Kevin Conroy was a big hit in the face for me. And now today, Jason David Frank has been announced officially now. He has also passed away due to suicide. And I don't know what drove him to do such a thing, but wow, you know, I'm not going to even go down that because it's not even it's not my place to dwell in things of that nature, But Kevin Conroy and Jason David Frank, those two men were pretty much a giant part of my childhood. Power Rangers. I just absolutely love Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I would have been about 5, going on 6 years old when it aired in the UK on Fox Kids. Because I remember it airing on Fox Kids, and also they had a early morning segment on GMTV, which was for kids TV. So GMTV, I remember they aired Beast Wars as well, which was the first time I actually watched Beast Wars, and then Power Rangers was one on it as well. But then Fox Kids also aired Power Rangers as well, and it was just such a big show and a massive influence on me as a kid. It actually kind of, funnily enough, I don't know, I think most kids actually of my, and most people that grew up with it, kids of that time, kids that grew up in the late 80s, or was born early 90s, who grew up with this, Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin era, or any alliteration of Power Rangers over the years, probably would have done the same thing, especially little lads and women, little girls as well, no doubt. Acting out the fighting scenes. Because obviously I was big into my wrestling as well as a kid, and into my teens I was big into my wrestling. So I used to practice wrestling moves. I used to jump off the sofa and onto a cushion. I used to do all sorts of off the rope sort of wrestling moves, and I also used to practice. When I used to watch Power Rangers, I used to excuse me. I used to practice the punches and the kicks and everything, and I kind of just picked all that up. And but yeah, it really did had a big impact on me when I was a kid, and yeah, it really is sad because I've lost quite a, there's been some very influential people that have died over the past few years for me that really defined my childhood and my teens. Obviously, you all know, obviously, my mum passed 5 years ago, and literally not long after my mum passed, Chester Bennington of Linkin Park passed away. And that was a big hit for me as well, because I don't care what people think of Linkin Park. So most people really do like Linkin Park's music. I love Linkin Park's music. I'm not as out when the way that they went near the end, before Chester passed, like the later albums, were they sounded a little bit. They didn't sound like their older stuff. I'm more fan of their Hybrid Theory, which is their first album as Linkin Park. So I love Hybrid Theory, and I love the Meteora album, and I love the Reanimated album, I think it's called. Basically the remixed album, where they kind of remixed certain songs and had rapping on them, and that I kind of like that album as well. There's a couple of other albums I liked later on as well. But Linkin Park was a massive influence on me because I massively went into music. I used I even to this day I use music as an escapism. I absolutely love music. I love listening to music, and it's one of the. There's only a couple of things that helps me to forget about certain things and what's going on in here, and that is music, films, watching films, and being around good friends, and that kind of thing is they're the only things that help me feel a little bit better and to help me zone out anything going on in here. And yeah, and when Chester passed, not long after my mum passed, and it was very, very hard for me to come to terms with that. Because Chester, he was one in a million. You're never gonna get anybody like Chester. He was just unreal. The talent of that man was just unreal. Um, and then now, Kevin Conroy. There's other people that I haven't mentioned yet, but there's been quite a few really big people that influenced me as a kid, but mostly when it comes to the stuff I used to watch, and I still watch to this day, to be honest, because it's left that much of an impact on me. I still revisit these things, even now I'm 33, or about to turn 33. Um, but yeah, wow. So, Kevin Conroy passing away was a big hit, and now Jason David Frank. I don't think this video will ever reach anyone in particular, and to be honest, I don't really mind if it doesn't. The fact is, the reason why I'm making this vlog is to, this is one of these things, is that I'm kicking myself. I'm kicking myself that I missed out on opportunities in the past to meet these people in person. Not Kevin Conroy, because I don't remember Kevin. Well, to be honest with you, I've never met Kevin Conroy, and I'd love to have met him in person. But I don't recall him ever coming to a UK Comic Con or any convention in the UK, because over the years I've been going to conventions. Oh, I mean, he might have, but for some reason it's completely escaping me. But obviously Kevin Conroy did do the convention circuit, but he usually just did American conventions. He was more in America. I don't know if he probably has done conventions in the UK in the past, but I've absolutely no idea when. It would have been an absolute honour to have met him in person. But when it comes to like Chester Bennington, I would have absolutely loved to have seen Linkin Park live, an actual Linkin Park concert, or Linkin Park, them in their element with Chester. I missed an opportunity to see them at Download Festival, and I think it was at a time when I don't know whether I was out of work or just getting into work. This is going back a fair few years actually, but they were headlining Download Festival one year, and I was like, oh my god, I have got to go to this. But typical thing, money, and I kick myself every day thinking that if things was better for me at that point in time, I could have seen Chester and Linkin Park live, but that never came to be. And Jason David Frank, he came to, was it Scotland or Liverpool? I think it was Liverpool. With Frank Welker and Peter Cullen were also at the same convention that year, and Sam and Tony both went. I couldn't go because I couldn't afford it, because I think at the time I was saving up for something else, or I was in between things that I'd already kind of booked. Um, because at the time of Liverpool, I was still working at Morrison's. Yeah, I was working at Morrison's still, so I hadn't left there to go to the job I'm at now. So I was still working at Morrison's. So there was this, I don't know what it was. I know it was money related. I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't afford to travel to Liverpool or wherever it was. Um, and it was a little bit last minute because I found out about Jason David Frank going and Frank and Pete. I found out probably only about a month, about 2 or 3 weeks before the event was due to happen. Sam said he was going. Sam went. I think Lawrence went, and Tony. And I was that obviously I got asked if I wanted to go as well, and I was like, I'd love to go, but I generally cannot afford it because I think I was literally had no money because one, I was out. Was it actually? Was it? No, I don't think it was as far back as that. Or was it? I do apologise for this. I'm trying to wrap my brains of whenabouts this was. No, it wasn't as far back as that. But no, I was definitely at Morrison's, I think, at the time. So it's only about I think it was about a year ago. I think it was like, was it about April time? Was it March? It might have been about, it would have been March, I think. That's why. Yeah, because my holidays for the year, I didn't, yeah, that's what it was. It was both money related and I didn't have any more holidays remaining to take off in order to do it. Because obviously with me being in retail, I also worked weekends, I also worked Sundays, and I also worked, my rotas were a little bit all over the place when I was at Morrison's. That's right. So I couldn't get out of work in order to do it. And yeah, I couldn't get out of work, and I had no holidays remaining. My holidays when I was at Morrison's, for the year they started in April, which was literally the month after, which was after this event was to take place. I think that was the case. So yeah, so I missed out on meeting both Frank and Pete, and also Jason David Frank was there. So yeah, I kicked myself big time. I could have met him, I really could, but what can you do? The thing is, in all these situations, people are probably going to watch this and think, don't be too hard on yourself. You never know. How was you to know this was going to happen? Obviously, nobody knows when this is going to happen. Everybody, unfortunately, passes away eventually. But some people pass away more prematurely, when when their time's not right, you know what I mean? Some people pass away prematurely, and then there's people that pass away and it's natural causes or whatever, or whatever reason it is. But but yeah, I shouldn't be too hard on myself because I wasn't to know this was going to happen, but it's still a shock. And it's just one of those things is that I wish took I wish I was able to be a bit more assertive and think things out a little bit more over those times. And but anyway, what can you do? You know, you can't really beat yourself up over things like that because one, you just don't know these things are going to happen like they did, or like they have, should I say? But well, there we go. But it's just Jason David Frank, Kevin Conroy, and Chester, and all them. They left a massive impact on me growing up. Chester was a big influence for me with food. Oh. Chester was a big influence on me he was a big influence when it comes to music. He was a big influence when it comes to music. And then obviously Jason David Frank, Power Rangers, and then Kevin Conroy was cartoons. I was very, very into my DC stuff and Marvel stuff as a kid. But yeah, it is a sad day for the Power Rangers fans, and yeah, it's certainly a horrible, horrible. I mean, I've been seeing, I just watched a video actually of Austin St. John, who played the original Red Ranger in Mighty Morphin, and he was literally fighting tears in his video that he did for him tonight. He did a video on his YouTube channel, and it was a hard watch because there was stuff going on behind the scenes with the original cast of Mighty Morphin, contractual problems, not getting paid enough money, things of this nature, and certain cast members actually left and got replaced with new people. And yeah, it's sad. It is sad, isn't it? But yeah, there was a little bit of beef between Jason David Frank and Austin St. John as well. But yeah, Austin St. John was still, he made a very, very nice and very emotional video talking about Jason and everything, and condolences to his family and friends and that. But yeah, I'm going to end this vlog and just say my condolences. If this video is actually seen by anybody in particular, I don't think it will. But my condolences are going. I can't get my words out because my mind's all over the place today. Tonight. Since this news hit, my mind's literally been just jelly. It really has. It's just literally just been turned to mush. But anyway, so my condolences go out to Jason David Frank's family and friends at this time, because he leaves a lovely daughter, a wife, and he was a good dad. He was a good family man, and he was a very So yeah, I don't know. My condolences go out to everybody, affected, to the Power Rangers fans and to cast members, so on, and people that have worked with him over the years. It is a very, very sad day. It is indeed. But anyway, so that's today's vlog. Sorry that there's been no other videos this weekend. This weekend's been a little bit weird. I don't know. I was going to make a review on Friday, but I ended up meeting up with I ended up meeting up with a few friends on Friday, in town, going out for a few drinks. Usually that happens on a Saturday, but it happened on Friday this weekend. And then yesterday, Smithy came to mine, and I've had Sam this afternoon, as well. So I've only just got enough time to do this vlog this weekend, but hopefully I am off. Obviously I'm back at work obviously tomorrow after the weekend, but I'm off for a week from this Friday. I break off on Friday, and I'm off for again it's a week, but it reaches 10 days of my birthday. My birthday is Monday the 28th, so I would like to try and get some videos out, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to promise anything. The reason being is my dad's decided that we, to freshen up the house, help decorate a little bit. So he's looking like while I'm off from work, I might be helping out a little bit with that stuff. So I don't know if I'll have any time or when I'll be able to do it. But I will try and get at least a couple of videos out over that week. because I want to get a birthday related video out, maybe like my birthday haul, stuff that I got for my birthday. And I want to try and at least get a review or something out, or maybe a live stream, but we'll see. I might be able to do something over the weekend, but from the Monday onwards, which is my birthday, the 28th onwards, I don't know what's going to happen with all that. I don't know what's going to happen there. But anyway, but I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I'm just letting you know. I will try my damnedest to get a couple of videos out, but it just depends, because obviously my dad's on about literally redecorating, I think, all the house, the bedrooms, hallway, living room, everything. So just like a lick of paint everywhere and such, just to kind of sort it out a little bit. So it's looking like a lot of work, but we're not going to finish it all in a week, I don't think. But it's just obviously I'm off from work, so I can help out a little bit more while I'm not working. So to get a bit of a head start on it all, if you know what I mean. But anyways, so thank you for watching, and see you soon, everybody.